Harbarger here at Providore Fine Foods with Josh Alsberg, who runs the Rubinette produce market in the store. Today we're going to be talking about caneberries. What is a caneberry?
So a caneberry is any berry that grows on a thorny vine, and it's characterized by the drupelettes, the little pockets of juice that actually make up the fruit itself. We have 6 that we're going to demonstrate today that are some of the more popular varieties, and we'll start off with the Marionberry. So the Marionberry was developed back in the 50s, and it's named after the county that it was developed in, which is Marion County. And it's a cross between 2 different varieties of native blackberries. It's an all-around great dessert berry.
It has a nice, juicy, flavorful kick.
And by the way, the Marionberry is really only grown commercially here in Oregon. It doesn't grow very well in other parts of the country.
So the Marionberry is kind of like a by Oregon for Oregon berry.
Yes, I think it is the Oregon State berry.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next? The raspberries.
So everybody knows the raspberry. A lot of times when people buy raspberries in the store, they're picked unripe, and they can last a lot longer that way, but they also don't have the residual sweetness that you're going to find with a ripe Oregon fresh raspberry. So you might get them all the way into September and October.
So you have a bit of a longer season for raspberries.
A little bit of a longer season. It's a hardier berry, and the production is a lot broader from farms.
Great, so what's next? This is one that I'm not as familiar with.
So the Boysenberry, no one's really sure where it came from, but this one farmer who had passed away was doing trial research on and created this Boysenberry. It is not heavily commercialized because it is so sensitive, and because once it's picked, the clock starts ticking pretty quickly. It's wonderful for cobblers. I love eating these fresh, and I actually love putting them on just vanilla ice cream during the summertime. It's a little on the tart side.
It looks very similar to a blackberry or a Marionberry, but it tastes much different.
So they're thinking it's a cross between a Loganberry and one of the blackberry varieties.
Okay.
Was how they came to derive that. But again, nobody's really sure where the derivative of that came from.
Okay, so next is Loganberries.
So Loganberries, but they're a cross between a raspberry and a blackberry. So this was also developed here in Oregon. It's an earlier season caneberry, and it's characterized by its really very sharp tart flavor. So it's really great for like jams and pies. As far as fresh eating goes, probably not my favorite.
Okay. I've never had one.
You should taste
okay.
one. It needs a lot of sugar to kind of help build it up and break it down at the same time.
It's sweet on the top, and then underneath there's like a little bit more maybe earthiness or something to it.
Yeah. I mean, I find myself, my tongue is kind of rolling over in my mouth a lot when I eat this one.
And so that's a pretty hard one to find as well.
It's hard to find. It's early in the season. There's only a few growers that grow it. This is more of an early to mid-June berry with a short season of about 2 to 3 weeks.
So when you want to start making your pies or ice creams or jams, that's the one to start with at the very beginning of summer.
Exactly.
All right, what's next?
So here we have the Silvan blackberry, and it looks almost identical to the Marionberry.
I've never even heard of it.
It is if you will, a child of the Marionberry. It comes from a Marionberry cross. And the idea behind creating the Silvanberry was to find a berry that had a longer season than the Marionberry, but had the same characteristics in flavor and use and availability. But the season on the Silvanberry is closer to about 6 weeks. There is a slight flavor difference. The Marionberry does have more of that upfront flavor and a little bit more lingering flavor. The Silvanberry has a really nice deep blackberry flavor. It isn't as broad. It doesn't have the long-lasting flavor that the Marionberry does.
A little less tart, a little less robust, I think is the word you used. But it's good. And then last but not least, we have Tayberries, another one that I've never heard of.
So Tayberry is a cross between a native blackberry and a raspberry. The Tayberry is actually named after the Tay River in Scotland. So I don't think it's native to Oregon specifically. The one challenge with the Tayberry is that they're very difficult to pick, both by hand and by machine. So finding them available commercially or even at the farmer's market is kind of a rarity.
It looks a lot like the Loganberry except small, like a miniature.
The only way that I can really tell the difference is that I feel like the Tayberry looks a little shinier. The Loganberry has more of the hazy drupelette quality on them. But if you taste the difference between the Tayberry and the Loganberry, the Tayberry does have more of that punch for taste.
It's a little wilder, I feel like, the taste of it.
And it's really nice to be able to get that diversity so you can create desserts that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise in other parts of the world.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Molly.
We have Brandon, right?
This is Brandon.
Brandon Alsberg with us. What is his favorite berry?
So far, his favorite berry has been a blueberry, but of all the caneberries, he's really liked the Marionberry.
He's a tried and true Oregonian.
Exactly. Yeah, let's see how he fares on the raspberry today.
Looks like maybe not a fan,
Well, he's
but
working
he's
on
giving
it.
it a chance.
Well, considering he doesn't have any teeth yet.